Know, wonder, and learn.
On the elements of short story, I remember setting and character. Setting refers to the time and place the story happens, while characters are people involved in the story. I want to learn new and more ideas about setting and character. I also want to know the other elements of short story, how to easily identify them so that I can understand the story better.
Your communication hub and literary arts center of SDO Isabela. SDO English Academy.
An analogy describes the relationship between words. Subject, verb, or teacher.
One hand. English Academy.
Hello, dear learners. Are you ready for another fun-filled learning adventure of the English Academy today?
Yes, ma'am!
Be ready for an interesting lesson. Relax and enjoy to the new concept that we are going to learn this day.
Yay!
I guess and hope that you are also energized for today. I am Mrs. Marilu Labarte Ramos, your radio teacher for today, and welcome to English Academy for Grade 4. I hope you are comfortable on your seat and you already have your pen, notebook, and module with you. Are you ready, kids?
Yes, ma'am!
Before we start our lesson, let's have a short review on the last topic that we had for Quarter 3. This is quite related to our first topic for Quarter 4 of school year 2020-2021. Do you still remember the topic that I am talking about?
Yes, ma'am!
Yes, the previous topic helps you analyze the story in terms of its elements. We learned that in every story it has characters, settings, and plot. These elements help us to understand the story better. So what do you call the person or even sometimes animal who takes part in the action of the story? Very good. They are the characters.
Boom!
How about the time and place which the story happened? Indeed, it is the setting of the story.
Yay!
Authors usually use description of landscape, scenery, buildings, seasons, or weather to provide a strong sense of setting in the story. How about the plot of the story? Can you tell something about it? Great! The plot of the story gives the series of events and character actions that relate to the central conflict in the story.
Hooray!
Events in the beginning gives the problem faced by the main character. The middle presents actions made by the character to solve the problems, while the ending gives the solution to the problem. We have also learned in our previous lessons about fiction and non-fiction. Can you differentiate fiction from non-fiction? Alright, fiction is made up of an imaginative story. It is a prose writing about imagined events and characters. We read this material for fun, while non-fiction refers to factual stories that are based on real people and true events. We read this material for information. Now, can you give me an example of fiction? Correct! Stories such as Winnie the Pooh and Cinderella. What about non-fiction? That's right, Philippine history. And another one is Rizal Life and Work. I am very happy that you learned so much from your previous topic.
Hooray!
Today, you're going to learn how to write a short story with complete elements, which could be fiction or non-fiction. So let's proceed to our new lesson.
Yes, ma'am!
Since you are now familiar with the elements of the story, then let us unbox what it's all about a short story. Do you have an idea about short story? Yes, a short story is a work fully developed but shorter than a novel. It's a narrative writing that usually deals with only few characters. It is usually concerned with a single effect conveyed with only one or a few significant episodes or scenes. For you to be able to write a story, we must know its elements. A short story has its elements, namely setting, character, and plot. The use of WH questions like who, what, when, and where will help you write a story. There are systematic guides to help you write a story. Step 1. Think of an idea. A good place to start is by reading a book. Stop and make predictions about how the story might end. Your alternative ending may become great material for a new and original story. You can also write stories based on real-life experiences such as your first day of classes during new normal, or an adventure in the park, or losing your first tooth. Your experience and imagination can help you build a good plot. Step 2. We have to create a character and setting. Who will be your characters in the story? Yes, it could be a child or an adult, or an animal, and even plants, or any creature you want in your story. We call them characters. You can also borrow attributes from the people you know or a stranger you notice. Next step is the establishment of the setting of the story. It answers the questions where and when the story happened. What do you call this element again? Correct! This is the setting of the story.
Boom!
The questions where refers to place. The story can be set in the park, a different country, or outer space. And the question when refers to the time. The story can be happened last year, tomorrow, or Sunday. You can make your imaginations run wild. Lastly, the plot, which bring moments or events happened in the story, or it is the action part in the story. What are the parts of the plot? That's right. Plot has 3 parts. the beginning, middle, and ending. And this is the step 3, the beginning of the story. The first paragraph should be catchy that will hold the interest of the reader. You may now introduce the main character right at the beginning of a story and tell about the setting. You can also tell or write here the problem faced by the main character and other characters to shake things up in the story. For you to better understand the steps, let us have a sample story entitled The Lion and the Mouse.
Hooray!
Let us listen to this story and observe how it was written by analyzing the elements used. The Lion and the Mouse. One afternoon, the middle of the jungle, a lion was sleeping under the shade of the tree. Suddenly, a playful mouse came out to play and ran all over the body of the lion. The lion woke up and caught the mouse. The tiny mouse was frightened and begged for forgiveness. The mouse promised to the lion that he will repay his kindness one day. The lion forgave the mouse, but wondered how the tiny mouse can help. One day, a hunter trapped the lion with a net. To know the characters in the short story, always ask yourself with the question, who? So, who are involved in the story? Yes, correct. The characters are the lion and the mouse.
Boom!
To know the setting of the short story, ask ourselves when and where the story happened. So where do you think this story took place? Yes, you're right. It is at the jungle in one afternoon.
Yay!
Next, what are the actions or events happened in the story? You're right. A hunter trapped the lion with a net.
Hooray!
In the beginning of this story, the character and setting were already mentioned, and of course, the challenges faced by the character. This part usually makes the readers predict what will happen next. Building the beginning of the story and the exposition part is the step 3. Within the plot is the climax that presents the most interesting part of the story. It can be a time where a character discovers a hidden superpower or a surprise that give a twist to the whole story. Of course, when you are going to write your story, think of something that the reader would least expect to make your plot unique. Take note of this. Fourth step, the development of your climax, going to the ending and resolution of your story where the moral is being realized. Well, let's continue analyzing the story of the lion and the mouse. The lion was looking for help, but nobody helped. The mouse came and offered to help. He released the lion by biting the net using his sharp teeth. What was the action made by the character? Yes, the action made by the character to solve the problem is by biting the net using its sharp teeth. To give solution to a problem, that would be our step 5, the ending. The ending is the last part of the story. The main characters show how the problem solved. To make a satisfying ending to finish a story, tell what happened to the characters once their problem is resolved. Tell also what the characters were able to finally achieve and important lesson they learned. And this is what happened to the story again. Let's go back to the story. He released the lion by biting the net using his sharp teeth. The lion thanked the mouse for helping him. Since then, they became a good friends. What happened to the ending part of our story? Yes, the lion released and they became good friends.
Hooray!
From the beginning up to the ending of the story, the struggles faced by the characters are solved, as these struggles directed us to some life lessons. To make our story better, we have step 6, the policing. In policing, you have to read your short story, edit your short story, and let someone proofread and edit your short story. So, those are the step-by-step guide in writing a story using its elements.
Boom!
Let's try to make a story step by step with guided questions. To write a story, what is the first step again? Yes, that's great. In step 1, think of an idea to make a story.
Yay!
When you already have an idea, what will you do next? Correct. Create character to act in the story and setting to tell where and when will it take place.
Hooray!
That is our step 2. After creating characters and setting, what is your next step? That's right. Start writing the beginning part of the story for our third step,
Boom!
which composed of the characters, setting, and the events or problems faced by the characters to make the story interesting. So, for fourth step, writing the middle part of the story along with the climax of the most exciting event of the plot. For the ending part of the story, which is step 5. This is how the problem has been resolved by the characters. And lastly, don't forget the 6th step, which is the policing to make your story better. Were the steps clear to you, kids?
Yes, ma'am!
Very good. So I guess you are ready on your quiz for today. Are you ready, dear learners?
Yes, ma'am!
Alright, all you have to do is to write the word yes if the tips given will help you in writing your own short story, or write the word no if the tips given do not help at all. You may write them on your activity notes or just comment down your answers. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am!
Then, We'll start with number 1. The question words who, where, and why are not necessary in writing a short story. Is it yes or no? Please write your answer. Number 2. When writing a short story, you can immediately write the ending without identifying the problem or conflict. Is it yes or no? Please write your answer. Number 3. The first step in writing is for you to think of an idea, whereas a good place to start is by reading a book. Is it yes or no? Please write your answer. Number 4. When you are going to write your story, think of something that the reader would least expect to make your plot unique. Is it yes or no? Please write your answer. And for number 5, in ending your story, tell what the characters were able to finally achieve and important lesson they learned. Is it yes or no? Please write your answer. Prepare your paper as we now check whether you got the answers right. Are you ready?
Yes, Ma'am.
That's great. The answer for number 1 is no. The answer for number 2 is no. While the answers for number 3, 4, and 5 are all yes. Since the last 3 statements are good points to consider in writing your own short story. Did you get all the answers correctly?
Yes, Ma'am.
Wow, you did great.
Hooray!
I guess most of you got high scores or got all the correct answers. Now, I hope you are ready to write your own story using its elements and be a successful author someday. That's all for today, kids. I hope this is a meaningful day for you. This episode will guide you on answering your modules. Till next time again, my dear learners.
Hooray!
Halina't matuto gamit ang ating radyo. Pakinggan at unawain, aralin na ituturo. Patuloy ang edukasyon para sa ating henerasyon. Sa daan ng pagkatuto ay walang maiiwan. Kaya halina sa Radyo Eskwela.
On behalf of Miss Mary Jane S. Mundo, our scriptwriter, and the SDO Isabela RBI production team, this is your radio teacher, Mrs. Marilu Laborten Ramos, saying, have a good day.
Ayun na, ayun na, ayun na, sa Radyo Eskwela. Ayun na, ayun na, ayun na, sa Radyo Eskwela.
Patuloy ang edukasyon para sa ating henerasyon.
Sa daan ng pagkatuto ay walang may iwan.
Kaya halina sa Radyo Eskwela.
Tayo na!
Sa Radyo Eskwela.